All right, looking at the Nasdaq, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Look at this price action. What interests me is this, up around here. In fact, what I'd like to do is, okay, rally, strong rally, strong rally, strong rally. Is this a little bit of weakness starting to show here? That's the question. Just have a look at this. This range. So you've got a bit of a range and a run on liquidity, possibly. What I don't see with this is, well, we haven't had this yet, and this is suspicious, in my opinion. As I said, I'm going to be play the devil's advocate here. Let's just go to down the time frame, 4-hour chart. Look at it. Be careful. Yeah, seriously, be careful here, guys. Don't be sucked in with this rally. I mean, look, for all I know, it could power on and we've got, the next rally and the next phase up. That's possible. But whenever I see, if I grab a volume profile, anchor that back in here, what does that look like? Yeah, all right, you want to be careful because I'm wondering whether, this is range bound at the moment, okay? Whenever you see price action moving between the high and the low of a range, at some stage it's going to break, and I'm wondering whether, we're going to get a pullback. We don't know yet. All right, so at the moment, I'll be watching this in relation to this volume profile, because this is giving me a range, high and low. And at the moment, while this is range bound, I'm not going to do anything. So that was range bound until it broke out, right? Break of structure. It breaks out of the range, and then, you've got something. So this didn't hold here. And I'm wondering whether this is gearing up for a bit of a wobble, fake out, shake out. Okay, that's a possibility. You just got to weigh it up, throw a few ideas out there and work it out. Now, here's the thing. There's a simple rule for me, trading volume profile. It's basically this. It trends up, it ranges, breaks out, ranges, breaks out, ranges, right? Maybe, all right? It goes into price discovery either way. So each one of these is value area where bigger players get involved, and then it breaks out of the value area, price discovery, into the next level where it finds value. Now I've got a lot of drawings on here. Let's just get rid of them and just throw that volume profile back in again, anchored. It's going to take it, maybe in here. So I'll show you this, look. Fixed range volume profile, here to here. And I'm going to remove, extend the right. Let's go like that. See the high and the low here? The high of the volume profile, that's value through there. All right, you get a breakout, and it's going to wiggle back and forth until it breaks out and fails, and that is your entry point. So while it's range bound, do nothing unless you want to fade it from the base. Okay, so you could buy here, you could sell here. I actually sold up here today, had a really nice outcome on my futures account, pulled right back, and I made some money. So that was a fade back into value. Okay, volume profile. All right, and again, grab a fixed range, pull it through here. There's the range. There's the high, there's the low, there's value. You break out of value, you get involved with it. Right, so I'm looking for this now to either it breaks above or it breaks below. So the way that I look to trade this is, if it breaks out, actually I didn't, because this is an all-time high up here. So I didn't break out. I didn't get long on the breakout. I was really happy to short it because I felt really convinced that it was gonna pull back down. But if it breaks, let's just say it breaks below. If it breaks below, yeah, I kind of did here, and you could have got caught, right? But these pin bars are a clue as to the fact that that's pulling back. What I would like to see would be if it breaks below and fails, and then you get, lower high, lower low, and it starts to move like that, then you can get involved on that pullback, right? So here's the thing. Let's delete some of these drawings, and I want to go down to a lower time frame and just show you. Just take that out, and I'm going to go to, we've got I'll just take that last one out. Let's go down to even a 30-minute. See, this is a value range right now, and I'm just waiting for this to show its hand, right? And it's either going to be bullish or bearish, either way. But so while it's traveling through this range, do nothing when it's in the middle. At the high of the range, okay, possibly look to fade it back in. So if it breaks out and fails, and you get that, that's a short right there. If it breaks out of here and fails and comes back in, that's a buy right there. Okay, this is a buy here. This is a short here. That's what I did today. All right, and then you target, the point of control really. As soon as this moved, I pulled my stop loss to break even, and I ended up capitalizing on that. So then fade back into value. So while it's in the middle, probably don't do anything, but wait for either the break above or the break below. And here's the thing. If it breaks out and it doesn't break back in to value here, and you see it fail here, that's price discovery, and that's a short. Same thing above. Breaks out, say it fails, and you get that, right? That is price discovery. So then you buy. So that's it, guys. It's as simple as that. All right, so I use volume profile and VWAP. So anchored volume profile back in around here. And look, I'm actually thinking, we might see it pull back. I mean, it could go either way for sure. I'm always suspicious when I see that, and then I see this move here followed by that. So I'm thinking the fakey shaky chart pattern before we get that. Maybe, right? Fake out draws in sellers, and then they run that liquidity, and then next thing you know, this thing's dumping. Possibly. It could head in that direction as well. So, I just watch it, and, a few things enter my mind, different possibilities. So that's it, guys. So anchored VWAP on the high, and another anchored VWAP on that, and let it play out just to see if it follows through, right? So we're looking for this thing to trend, and it might do that. And then you would anchor the VWAP here, anchor the VWAP here, and if it fails and doesn't pull back through VWAP, you could sell. And again, if it comes back in, then buy, right? So either way, guys, either way, if that continues up, there's a buy, right? So that's it. Simple as that. This is, volume profile, VWAP. So to wrap this up, I would say, just grab my mouse. All right. This is trending up at the moment. You can see here, right? If that holds, if we continue. And the other thing is you want to see actually a higher high and then a pullback. It's got to give you a higher high. If it's a lower high, I would be really suspicious. See this here? It didn't follow through with a higher high, and look what happened. So you want that trend continuation to give you, all right, higher high, pullback. That's where you buy on this break structural shift through here. That's where you buy. Higher high, pullback. Okay, pin bar, that's kind of enticing. to get long, okay, when you see something like that. Make sure it's a higher high. See, this here is a lower high, so that's a little bit scary. But when you get like a clear higher high, that's a buy when it pulls back, when it starts to break structure, okay? So here, there's no higher high. It's a lower high. So what I'm waiting for, this has to give me a higher high here and a pullback above the volume profile value area high as well. So that would be a possible buy. Just label that, note buy. And you've also got, okay, you've also got this going on. So there's two things. There's a bullish thing here, and there's also a potential bearish thing going on. So if this happens to do that, pull back, there's a sell. Potentially, it's got to hold under VWAP. The volume profile value area low. Entry note sell. Right. But understand, if it pulls under, it can also pull back in. So if it breaks under and pulls back in, I'll cancel that trade. Just bail immediately. Right. It's got to hold here and give you, that would be a lower low. So high, lower, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, into and failing at this value area low. Got to plan your trade, guys. All right. So, and this one would be higher high, higher low, higher high, and then that. All right. So you could just grab the text tool. It's got to be a higher high. Just white, that'll do. Higher high, and then okay. And this lower high, lower low. It's got to give you a lower low. That's just the simple rules that can give you a high probability setup. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up really. Two options. So at the moment, this is trading through value. Okay, shade that. Oh yeah, that'll do. We'll do that. Okay, and we'll just call it value area. Okay, value area, value range. Okay, balance or value, balance area, value area. Okay, where it'll touch the highs and the lows and keep working between them. Okay, all right, that's a trade plan. Now, if you take one of these, long or short, whatever the case might be, stop. Okay, the recent high, stop above that, go for broke, and I always look for 60% or 50% off at 1R, and then just follow that down. Same thing if you buy. So, well, you know, if that moves, let me just mark this up a little bit more. Okay, so if we get higher, that, well, yeah, your buy, if you get long, would just be under the most recent low. So that could pull up here and then reject off this point of control and come back. Who knows, right? Who knows? But, you know, something like that. You just stop under that, whatever the previous low, and 50% off at 1R. That's a trade plan, and I'd love it if you comment and let me know what you think. Are we on the same page? Can you relate to what I'm talking about? Does it make sense? With that, I hope you have a great day, safe trading, and see you in the next one.